Good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank everyone who's here with us right now, joining us today for our Purple Star Campus designation of the fall interest meeting. We will start in about another minute and a half, but I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a time now. One, thank you for joining us today, and two, give you time to kind of get in and get settled, and we will proceed through with today's webinar training. And at the end, or throughout, actually, you'll get a chance to ask questions. So we'll start in just a few moments. All right, the time is now 2 p.m. We want to thank everyone who's with us today. We're expecting right around 500 people here with us here, and so we'll go ahead and get started. We have quite a bit of information to make it through, to get through today, and so we're looking forward to this time we have together. As just a couple of matter of housekeeping items, the place to go and get answers during this webinar, if you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, is you can enter that into the Q&A. And I will try to answer each one of those and then provide the answer where everyone else can see it, so that if someone is asking a question and then I answer, other folks can see that, can look in the Q&A, can see the answers and the questions that are being posed. And so we'll try to do that as a means of interactivity. We also have a few polls that we'll do throughout today's presentation, and so we want to just kind of get that engagement. We'll go ahead and get started with our first poll of today. If I can get the Q&A to go away here. All right, there we go. All right, so for our first poll today, we want you to kind of tell us just a little bit about you. So take a look at that. The first question is, tell us about the choice that most closely describes your role. And for this one, we just kind of like to know who all's in the audience, to know who we're talking to get an idea of how this information is being shared with our stakeholders in our community. And so again, just take a second then, as once we've got a few more seconds left on this one, 26 seconds left on this one, we'll go ahead and share the results of the poll, so you guys have an idea as well of who's in the audience with us today. All right, we have about 40 more people that need to answer. Again, if you're here with us, please select the choice that most closely describes your role. All right, we will go ahead and end the poll here and share this with you. All right, so again, thank you so much for taking our first poll this morning. Just kind of want to know who's in the room. And if you can see there from the results of the survey, we have about 13% in here are with us are district administrators, about 4% are campus administrators, 15% are school counselors, about 4% are fall into the teaching or academic coach or learning specialist role, 6% social workers and case managers. Thank you so much for being here today. 14% are ESCA liaison staff, so thank you for our ESC support staff this year. Campus support staff, that looks like it's one of the largest groups. Thank you so much for being here. Other TEA agency staff, there are none here. That's okay. They're all busy. We're here at the Association of Compensatory Education Conference here in Las Colinas today. So some of the folks that might usually be here are here presenting today. And then the last category is other student support role. And so again, thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate you being here with us. We've got a packed house today and we got a lot of information to get through. And so anytime you have a question, please feel free to drop that into the Q&A. I'll pause every now and then throughout the presentation to try and answer as many of those as I can. There'll also be an opportunity for a survey at the very end. You can ask questions there. At the end, we'll also ask you to go ahead and provide us some feedback on today's presentation to guide kind of the resources and how these are put together. Your feedback is really important to us. And so we want to take several opportunities to give you an opportunity to provide that feedback here at the end of the presentation today. And then you'll receive an email again tomorrow with that same survey in it. So if you answer the survey today, it should pop up right in your browser afterwards. But if you don't answer today, you should get an email with that survey tomorrow. So with no further ado, let's jump right in. Just a little bit about me. Again, my name is Dr. Jimmy Bowser. I'm the Highly Mobile State Coordinator here at the Texas Education Agency. We're in the Highly Mobile and At-Risk Student Programs Division, which includes pregnancy-related services, foster care, McKinney-Vento, among other programming, military-connected student programming. I am the program lead for all of the military-connected student programming here at the agency. And so that's Purple Star falls into that work stream. And so this is my 26th year of education, and I've started off as a teacher. I've been a campus administrator, district level administrator, and before I went to Japan, I worked for DODEA, or the Department of Defense Education Activity. But my love for this particular work stream began with my background in the military. I'm a U.S. Marine, served in the U.S. Marine Corps right out of high school, and loved every second of it. And so the opportunity to go back and work with DODEA and work and serve military families again, just combining the great loves of my life of learning and then working with those military families. And so now here at the agency, I have the opportunity to do that again, to work on behalf of the state's military-connected students and their families, in addition to our other at-risk student programming that I mentioned earlier. And so that's just a little bit about me. Again, I see the room's getting more and more full here. We're almost got everybody here, but thank you for being here today. So to support today's agenda, we'll start off with an introduction to kind of our military world a little bit, and then we'll jump right into the Purple Star Campus Designation Program, which is why all of you are here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the authority and where that authority comes from. It can be found in statute. We'll talk about the program requirements. There's basically 5 of them for the most part, and we'll cover those. That's being the campus-based liaison, the easily accessible website, the student-led transition program, the professional development for staff, the military student and family support initiatives. Those are the 5 program requirements, and we'll walk you through those with some exemplars so you can see just how easy this is, because you can do this. And then we'll talk a little bit about txschools.gov and what that is. Most of you may know what that is, but for those who don't, I'll share some information about that with you. Then we'll cover a couple of the FAQs that we kind of get most often, especially when people are filling out their applications. That's usually when we start getting a lot of questions. And so I'll share a few of the most commonly received questions we get, and then I'll cover a few of the most commonly received current errors that we see in applications that sometimes keep people from earning the Purple Star Campus designation. So we don't want you to make those common mistakes, so we'll be sure and cover that for you today during the presentation. And then lastly, we'll share with you a few resources for support for our LEAs out there and other support stakeholders. We'll share a few resources for support with you. So with that in mind, we'll jump right in. Just to talk a little bit about our military connected students. And so Texas has 15 military installations here in the state. That's almost more than any other state in the country. As you can imagine, the most recent survey data we've gotten back from the Department of Defense is that there are about 915 school-age Department of Defense military dependents that are active duty military dependents. One of the reasons why I provide unique and targeted supports for military connected children is that one of the things we realize is that these students move a lot. They are mobile. The average military connected student moves about 3 times more on average, more than the non-military connected peers. But in real life, that translates to about 6 to 9 times. Your average military connected kiddo will move 6 to 9 times, and that's just in their K through 12 years. And so that's, as you might imagine, that's a lot of mobility, which brings about a lot of unique needs for these students. And the Purple Star Campus Designation Program is really there for the purpose of bringing that transition support. Our job is to ease those transitions, not make them harder. And then with the Purple Star program, we show you how to do that and how to make that something that's good for families instead of something that's hard. Texas, again, we're home. We have about 200,000 military connected students in the state. That's about 4% of the state's student age population, and it continues to grow year over year. This will be our 5th year of this program. We've been connecting the military student connector information since 2014, I think. And so getting those numbers is really, we track that information because we have to report a lot of information out to the federal government about military connected students. And so this is a great way to support those kids and their families. We have military connected students by area that I have shown here in this particular graphic. I have it and the way it's distributed there is distributed from the most or the highest density areas where we have military connected students down to the lower areas where there's not quite as many. So as you might imagine, looking at this particular graphic, those who are familiar with the San Antonio area, you know, San Antonio has several military installations there. And so they have the highest density of military connected students in this state, and that's in region 20. And so if you look kind of at the graph over to the table over to your left, that correlates to the graph of distribution of the military connected students you see there on your right. And so you can kind of look down there, see where your area is, and I'll give you an idea of the number of military connected students that are in that area that have been reported and identified based on, this is last year's snapshot numbers. And so these are fairly recent numbers. Let's talk a little bit about the authority we have for this particular program. Again, identifying military connected students started back with ESSA in 2015, required schools to report back on the assessment data for military connected students as one of the 4 highly mobile student groups that there are here in the state within the federal law. Texas Education Code Statute 25.006. This is the one that requires the agency or requires LEAs to collect data on the military connected students and report that up through PEAMS. And so that information has to be reported through PEAMS. We sort of inadvertently refer to it as a military student identifier. That's how most states refer to it as well. And in a lot of the research we've gotten, or a lot of the articles we've seen reading in support of this, that's kind of the way it's referred to. So it's sort of in colloquially known as the MSI, or the military student identifier. And this does differ from impact date, and I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later in this presentation. The Purple Star statute itself can be found in TEC 33.909. Again, this is the 4th year of the program. It first went into effect in 2021. We had schools that were awarded that year. And in statute, it required the commissioner to create rules for the program. And what you see there is the commissioner's rule is Texas Administrative Code, Title 19, Chapter 61, Subchapter FF. And when I send this presentation to you all here right at the end, I'll try to copy it and drop it into the chat, or I'll just email it to you guys right after. The commissioner, there's a link to the commissioner's rule for the programming that's right there. And so you'll be able to click on that. And the program was created by the 86th legislature, and the purpose of the Purple Star Campus Designation Program, as I mentioned earlier, is to recognize those campuses that demonstrate support and commitment to meeting the unique needs of military connected students and their families. This is, again, the 4th year of the program, and we're very excited. There are currently 332 Purple Star schools in the state of Texas as of this past few months ago. As we mentioned earlier, there are, and right before we jump into these, I'll jump in and kind of answer some questions before we jump into the requirements. But there are 5 criteria. 1, the campus has designated a campus-based military liaison. And we're going to go into each one of these in detail. The webpage, campus has to create and maintain an easily accessible webpage for military connected families as we maintain on their page. And we'll talk a little bit about this. You certainly can, the district can, or the campus can work directly with the district to help create that page and help maintain that page and help sustain and support that page. And we're seeing that more with the campuses that do a really good job at this. And we'll show you some exemplars in the presentation. The district works directly with the campuses to maintain a military connected page that really does work. I found that to be best practice, actually. So, but that's the second thing. Then the third thing is that they must have and maintain a student-led, preferably, campus transition program. The campus transition program is required for all Purple Star schools. Again, in statute, we're required to be student-led, and we'll talk about what that might look like in the training and selection process, what that might look like. We'll talk about that. But again, the idea is to have that be a student-led campus transition program so that as new families and new students are enrolling, those families are coming in, you have those military, we call them military ambassadors, that can then talk and work on behalf of your campus to give the campus tours, introduce them to your local community, and just really connect the kids and give them that great good feel of thank you and welcome to our, your new family. And then the last, they have to also provide professional development for staff, and we'll show you some examples of that. We'll walk you through that. We're actually going to provide you with a lot of those coming up here with a couple of projects we're working on. And then the last one is they have to participate in one of three initiatives to support military connected students and families. And we'll walk you through what those three are, what they look like, and how to easily make sure you qualify in the application process for those. And so I'm going to walk you through each one of these, break it down, make it easy for you so it's digestible and it's attainable, because it is. And before we get into questions, the key thing to remember is the designation itself lasts for 2 years. And so if you get the designation here in what we're calling school year 24-25, because the application won't open until the spring. So that'll be for earning it for 24-25. You get it 2 years, you get it 24-25, and then 25-26. At the spring of 26 is when you have to reapply to retain your certification. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for those who are in the audience, if you've already been a Purple Star member, so you already were recertified either this past year or you're up for recertification this year, we want to congratulate you on earning the Purple Star designation and for the unique commitment to our military connected families. And thank you for being here with us today. So let's jump in and answer a few questions before we go into the details of each of the requirements. Okay, so, all right, there's a load, I've seen that one. Let's see. Okay, Ura, so Richard, all right, Semper Fi, Devil Dog there. Ura, all right, Marcella, thank you. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. Thank you so much from Niketa and Teresa Cuevas. Thank you. You're welcome. Happy to serve, happy to continue to serve. Yes, Niketa, you will receive a copy of the notes. Jeremy, I'm sorry you cannot hear me. I don't know what to do, buddy. Try to go out and come back in. Try that. Let's see what happens. Just wondering whether this recording can be viewed later. Yes, it will be recorded and posted to our website. As a matter of fact, this will be recorded to our YouTube and posted on our YouTube channel by Friday. And I will send you, everyone who attended today, you will receive an email from me by Friday with a copy of the PDF copy of these notes with your CBE. So it'll be a PDF of your continuing professional education credits, and then the YouTube video, a link to the YouTube video of this particular recording. So yes, you'll have all that information in your email box by Friday. So you can then turn this around and share this with your other admins, other principals, or your district, however you want to do that. I'll see, getting the Q&A here before we move into things. All right. I'll say everybody's please make sure you mute yourselves. I can't hear you, but I'm guessing the other people maybe can hear you. We were school admins, also expect to be on this webinar, just as military. It'd be great if admin is here. Angela Reed asks, would it be beneficial for school admin to be here? It would be excellent if they can be there, because without school admin, there and supporting the program, it's very difficult to have this be a priority on the program. So Carla Cruz, yes, we're going to share the presentation. Andrew Allerton, yes, you're going to get this PowerPoint right after, maybe hopefully by Friday here. And thank you, Christina Bawden. I'm very happy to serve. All right, let's jump in. Oh, there's a few new messages here. Oh, Nancy's having a fire drill. Rebecca said, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Oh, Rebecca, jump into the Q&A. You may be able to see it there. because I have it set up where everybody can see. If last year was our second year as a Purple Star campus, but we missed the spring reapply, is there time to reapply? Still time to reapply for this year? No, that timeline passed. If you missed it reapplying this past year, then your next opportunity to reapply will be this spring. You will know your what's the question is how we know. We'll talk about that here in the program. You'll know when you are when if you've been designated with or been awarded the Purple Star campus designation. To answer Angela's question, there's 331 Purple Star schools in Texas. And to Chad, you're awesome, dude. Thank you. All right, let's jump into the requirements. All right, so let's talk. This is the most important requirement, and this one is for the military liaison. And so each LEA or each campus must designate a campus-based member that serves as the military liaison. I want to make sure I'll say that clearly. It has to be a campus-based member that serves as the military liaison. So for those of you who are close to a military base, and because all the military bases or in the installations have what they call military liaisons as well. Those are for the purpose of welcoming the family to the installations. To earn the Purple Star, you have to designate a campus member to be your campus military liaison, and they're the one source, one point of contact for all things military families that come in. There's a lot of requirements that are in statute that the military campus liaisons have to ensure. Which is making sure the program is implemented and maintained, and that the program is growing, that the program is meeting the requirements, and all those things. And so the naming of your campus-based military liaison is the single most important thing you're going to do when deciding to pursue this particular designation. And so, again, they serve as that POC between the campus military connected students and their families, and they determine the appropriate campus services available to military students. Say, for instance, if your campus is near a unit that's being deployed maybe to somewhere based on some conflict in the world or conflict, wherever, that will be something that maybe you would want to take as a military liaison and say, okay, I realize, I've understood that we've had about 6 or 7 parents that have been deployed. Maybe we should set up, some sort of a professional development on how to help military connected students cope with the deployment of family members. And so that will be something that would be very appropriate for that campus-based military liaison to kind of think about those needs, and maybe in working control in conjunction with your counseling department. I mean, there's all kind of great things that can be done there. But then also the assistant coordinating those campus programs that are relevant to military connected students. That could be anything from actually taking this presentation, turning it around and presenting it to the whole campus. That would actually be one of the things you could do to add to your application that would help you qualify for Purple Star campus in the spring. Is that one of the professional development, one of the requirements is professional development. If you turn around this presentation, present it to everyone, they all sign in saying that you presented it, they understand it now, what's going on. You'd upload a copy of that sign-in sheet along with this presentation in your application. Boom, check. That's professional development one checked off. So yeah, we're trying to make this easy for folks to get, because we really do want that support across the state for our military connected kids. So based on what we just talked about with the military liaison, we just want to do a quick check for understanding there. It's okay if you don't have all the answers. If you don't have all the answers, if you don't get it correct there, just okay. Purpose of this is just to kind of check for understanding on what's going on. So based on what we just talked about with the campus-based military liaison, which of the following is not a responsibility of the campus-based military liaison? You have choose the correct answer. Which of the following is not a responsibility of the campus-based military liaison? You have identifying military connected students enrolled and ensuring those campuses are appropriate, our students are appropriate, our student identifier is correct. Serve as the point of contact between the campus and families, determine appropriate campus services available to military connected kiddos, assist and coordinate campus programs, and all the above. That one sounds good to you? All the above. Awesome. We have about 12 seconds left. Let's try to get 100% to go ahead and answer this one for us. So far, it's going very, very well. I'll give you a hint. All right. We'll go ahead and end the poll there. About 75% of our folks that chimed in. We'll end the poll now, and let's look at the results. All right, so as you can see, the question was, which one of the following is not a responsibility of the campus-based military liaison? And the correct answer was all of the above. These are all the responsibilities of the campus-based liaison. And it looks like about 86% of us got that, of you got that one correctly. So congratulations to you all. And for those of you didn't get it correct, that's okay. That's why I didn't do like a Kahoot. I didn't want this to be a competition. I just wanted this to be a check for understanding to see, make sure you understand what's going on. But that military liaison has that responsibility for doing all those things. That includes working with the registrar, the clerk, to help identify the military connected students in the school and making sure that every student who is a military connected student is coded as such and encoded in accordance with the 6 PEMS codes there are for military connected kiddos. So we'll stop sharing that one, but thank you. Let's see, shared the results already. All right, we'll go on to, let's go to the next requirement. All right, so the next requirement is the maintaining of an easily accessible web page that includes resources for military connected students and their families, including info. And this is not exhaustive, so you have to look at the statute to kind of see what's exhaustive, or look at our website, which kind of show you the exhaustive language that's there. But the minimum things that should be on the website are information about relocating to the campus, enrolling and registering at the campus. What does that look like? How can I do that? How soon can I do that? Transferring records to the campus. How is that done? So the website needs to have that information on there. There needs to be information on the regard related to academic planning, what the course sequences are available at your campus. For those of you who have course sequences, that's mostly middle and high schools that have those. Advanced classes that are available at your campus, and sometimes that can be elementary, middle, or high school. There should also be information on your site about counseling and other support services. If you are a campus that's near a military installation, sometimes they have they have a military counselor sometimes that's there on base. So on campus, on some campuses. So it'll be really important to list all those support services that are available. And then the contact information for the campus-based liaison and the liaison's responsibilities. So your military family campus webpage, at a minimum, the very first thing I look for when I go to the page is we'll look for, one, is it easily accessible? Two, when I go to the page, the first thing I want to see is your campus-based liaison, their name, their contact information, and then you can copy paste that list of their responsibilities directly from the commissioner's rule. Copy paste it on there. Don't make it hard. Just copy paste it. Make sure the other information is there. Save your page. And then at that point, it's a matter of maintaining it and making sure it's always up and current and has the latest information there. So, but that's the campus base. Again, the key thing is making sure it's easily accessible. Well, this is one of the things we want to talk a little bit about is working with your district to do pages. And I'm going to show you this on an exemplar up next here. This is Northeast ISD. And I'm going to show you a couple samples of this one, because this one's so important. But this is Northeast ISD. They're down around the San Antonio area, and they do a really good job at this, because this is the image you're looking at right now is their district military families webpage. And then one of the things they do that I really like is when you if you go up here and click on schools, the next thing you'll see is their list of schools in Northeast ISD, and each of the ones that are a Purple Star school has a Purple Star logo there next to the name of that school, along with their demographic information and other important information. And so this is an easy way for parents who know about Purple Star, because a lot of your military families will, but they're looking for a Purple Star school. They're trying to figure out where they should move. One of the things they can do is you can utilize your website information to easily identify those Purple Star schools, so that parents know where to move when they move to a new area, because that's usually their biggest question is, where can I move? What schools are Purple Star schools? Which ones have this information? Which ones are ready to receive us? Which ones are used to military kids and working with those families? And so this is just a great job doing it. Another one exemplar I want to the information is here. And again, you'll get this website, you'll get a PDF of this website, presentation here shortly. But the link to NISD site, NEISD site is right there. This one is another great one. This one is Socorro ISD. This one is down near the El Paso area. I had the pleasure of meeting with them last week. I was in El Paso for a education summit at Fort Bliss. and I was up there, but Socorro is one that from a distance, I'd come across the site, and just to me, this one is, again, it's an exemplar site. They do a very, very good job. And the thing I love about Socorro's site is, again, this is their district military family webpage that they have. That's off the district main page. And then if you click on one of their campuses or go to one of the campuses, but one thing I like about it is if you look there at the top, there's like the YouTube video that's there, and it's the same video when you go to the site. So this is Ituarte, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, Ituarte Elementary, but that same site. So they build out shells. Each one of their campus military family web pages looks exactly the same. I mean, it looks exactly the same. And so if a parent who has a kid in maybe 3 schools, they have one in elementary, one in middle and high, when they go to the military family page for each of those schools, it looks exactly the same. So it makes life that much easier for military connected families when districts work together with their campuses to do stuff like this. And if you look there at the second image on the right there, that is the copy of the military. That's the LEA military campus liaison webpage. And so if you look there, I mean, almost everything that's in requirement is listed here. So I give you the website there under it, SISD.net, domain 110.23. Hey, go to that link, copy paste what they're doing, look at what they're doing, roll that into. I mean, these are what we consider exemplars. So congratulations to this district and this campus on the work that they're doing. So we're gonna do a quick poll over this requirement, and then we'll jump into the questions. So that's kind of the format. We'll go over the requirements, we'll do a poll on it, check for understanding, and then we'll answer questions. So let's jump into that. All right, so our next poll, this was the campus-based webpage. So if you got the last one right, let's see who gets 100 out of this, right? So question is, which items are required to be posted on the campus-based website? Contact information for the school liaison and the liaison's responsibilities, relocation information, academic planning courses, counseling and other support services, all of the above. All of the above is the last one that's there. So we got about 30 more seconds. We'll give everyone an opportunity to jump in there and take a swing at that one, and then we'll answer a few questions from the Q&A. We got about 15 more seconds. Wow, we're getting a ton of participation on this one. I guess all of the people in this seminar must have realized that all of the answers here are very interesting to choose, but among them, there's only one that is all inclusive of the information that is needed for the page. All right, let's go ahead and share. All right, so as you can see, we had most of our folks here get that one correct. About 91% of you got that correct. So if you did, go ahead and give yourselves a big hand. You've been listening. Learning is occurring, folks. Learning is occurring. And so thank you so much. We really want to appreciate those who got it right. If you didn't get it right, that's okay. The purpose of this is coming to train to learn. And so it's all right. All right, so we'll stop sharing that one. All right, let's go to the Q&A to answer a few questions. See, trying to look for new ones. Not a lot of new ones in here. Can training sign in on Google sign in, or does that just see Kara ask, can the training sign in be on a Google sign in, or does it have to show signatures? Any way that you can just document that the folks that came, that your staff came, is the easy way to do that. And so however you do that, however you implement it, it just needs to be something that you can upload to show that people came to the training. So great question, Kara. See, Maggie says, thank you for your service. Are you familiar with student ambassadors? Absolutely. And we're going to get into this in the next section. There are several programs that will train your campus on how to implement its student transition program. And so we'll cover a couple of those in the next section. Can the website be a district-wide website that applies to all purpose-led campuses? Christina, it can start that way, but at the end of the day, each campus needs to have its own individual site. But what I have seen some districts do, if they're a smaller district, is that they just have one district site that lists the purpose-led campuses. And then when you click on that campus, that link to go to that campus, they have just one page there that just has the military information, military liaison information, or their page if they're a small district like 4 schools, they list out the schools and that are purple star, and they just put the liaison's contact information there with a link to their email address, and then the liaison usually has a page that they've put up somewhere that has everything else on it. So absolutely, open all those. So you can website be district-wide. We talked about that one. Just so I understand, if we have a district liaison that is military connected, because we are near military base, this is not counted as our campus military connected contact. Is that Maite? Yes, that is correct. If you have your district liaison, that's fine. If that district liaison wants to serve as the campus-based liaison for all of the campuses, the Purple Star campuses in the district, or for all the campuses in the district, this will be perfectly acceptable for, again, like going back to my example I used a few minutes ago, a district that has 4 schools. That would actually be bit more efficient if one person at the district level served as the maybe highly mobile support person. So they handle not only military connected families, but every district is required to have a foster care contact there. Every every district is required to have a homeless contact. Those are all highly mobile groups. And so we found that a lot of the district representatives that do that are also pulling in the military connected work nowadays. And so it's quite possible to do those things. Absolutely. If there's ever any questions, my contact information is going to be at the end of this presentation. Feel free to email me. I'll go ahead and give it to you now. It's military connected students at tea.texas.gov, and I'll drop that in the chat here in a second for everyone to see, so you can have that. But go ahead and email me if you can't get in here, if I don't answer your question here. Who's responsible? Martha said, who's responsible for selecting liaison? Ultimately, anything that happens on a campus typically falls to the responsibility of the principal in selecting that person. And so I would say just, if someone wants to do it, someone wants to be it, they need to probably advise they talk to their principal and have that conversation with the principal. I see Kristen, last question. Kristen says, can the liaison be a volunteer member of the PTA board? Does that have to be a paid employee? It needs to be, the primary person needs to be a paid employee, but we do have a lot of parent coordinators that are paid by the district that do this job, because a lot of them are either military spouses or military dependents, or they're ex-military service members. I've found that those folks love to have that particular role as campus-based liaison or district-based liaison, and they do a very, very good job at it because they understand military culture and military families. All right, those are the questions there. Saw there are a few. The chat is disabled, so it's hard to get to. Everyone can't see something if you put it in the chat, and so try to keep things in the Q&A if you can, so everybody can see them. And I'll try to get to some of these chat questions here shortly. Let's see. I don't know how to do this. 5 people have their hand raised. If you got your hand raised, this one's kind of it's disabled. So put your question in the chat if you can for me, please, or the Q&A. I'm sorry, your question in the Q&A, and we'll get to it. Let's keep moving so we can honor everybody's time. We got about 24 minutes, I believe, left, so let's just keep it moving. All right, our next requirement that we're going to talk about, this is number 3 out of 5. Keep in mind, and so the next one is the transition program. It's led by students, and the purpose of the program is to assist military connected students in transitioning to your campus. Now, we already have this. This is already in statute, and it's required already to have things like an enrollment conference. That's part of the transition for some of the other highly mobile groups I've mentioned, like foster care and McKinney Vento homeless students. But it's in statute right now that you have to have an enrollment conference for those students. We highly, highly, highly recommend that an enrollment conference be part of your student transition program that you have. But again, it should be led by students, if at all possible, but it must be sponsored by a staff member, and it does not have to be the campus-based military liaison. It can be someone else who just chooses to and maybe wants to be a part of this program. Maybe they've been in the military before, or maybe they just love working with new families as they come in. It could be any staff member that wants to be the military, the sponsor for the transition program. It could be any staff member. It could be a principal, a counselor, anyone that works there. That can be the campus liaison. I mean, it can be the sponsor for the transition team. But that person does need to know about the school, because you got to train the students on your campus and on your district. And so those activities that we would highly advise, and this is not all inclusive, so you kind of use your imagination, but we highly advise they do things like take families on tours of the campus, that they take the student and walk the student schedule with them. When I was a principal, I always built this into the first day of school, or the first 2 weeks before, or the 2 weeks before school. I would open up the building for a couple days, so parents and students would come in and they could walk they could walk the building, figure out where their classes are. They had opportunity to go to their schedules and do all those things. But we would highly recommend all those things, those operative things that happen in a school on a school day, on an average school day, be part of the tour for that family that's coming in. Again, we highly recommend putting them with the lunch buddy. One of the things that we always did, we had in place at my campuses where I served as principal or administrators. We always looked, when we built their schedules, we looked at when they were going to be going to lunch. We tried to look at the roster of that class where they were going to be and try to assign them someone, or look to see if someone that was part of the transition group or transition team was in that classroom that could be their lunch buddy, and bring them to school to lunch that day. Because we all know there's nothing more crucial than the first 3 minutes of lunch on the first day of school, where everybody has to figure out where they're going to sit for the rest of the year. And there's probably more fear in that cafeteria that moment than in any other place any other time throughout the school year. But just having somebody that can help them navigate just that scariest moment of the day, which is, where am I going to sit at lunch for the rest of the year? But we highly recommend helping them out with those kind of things. Some of the other activities that we highly recommend is having your transition team welcome them and invite them to different campus events. Invite them to come to pep rallies. Invite them to come to other activities. Invite them to tutoring. Invite them to some of the clubs that your school may sponsor. When I was a principal, our focus was on engagement. We wanted 90-something% of our kids at least to be engaged in something. And so I told teachers, hey, everybody, if you want to create a club, just engage kids after school. We need both. Just all the research says when kids are engaged in something, they stay engaged in school. This is an opportunity to engage both students and families, really. So take this opportunity to do that. Invite them to stuff. The transition team is key to introduce them to key members of the staff. So take them to introduce them to the principals, the assistant principals, the nutrition coordinator, the registrar, the attendance clerk, who they take the notes to, showing them where to catch the bus in the afternoon if they're catching a bus, or show them where parent pickup is if they're going to be picked up by their parent. I mean, showing them all those operational things. Taking them, introduce them to the librarian, showing them where the cafeteria is, show them how to put money in their lunch account. Just all these things are things that we highly recommend be part of the transition program. And we're working on a sample transition kit that can be used by all schools for all mobile groups as they're coming in and they're transitioning in. It's one of the projects we're working on for this year, so we'll have to get that out a little bit later this year or early next year. When it comes to a few minutes ago, I mentioned that there are some organizations out there that will come in and train your school on how to implement its transition program. One of those, the first one here, is MSEC. It's the Military Child Education Coalition. They have a program called Student to Student. That's an excellent student transition training program. They have a lot of information on their website that you can go and get about that. Anchored for Life is another one. I believe that one is started by one of the military services, but that's another one. Then the other ones you see here, if it's an actual installation, they usually have what's called Children and Youth Services. And within the office of their Children and Youth Services, typically is an installation liaison that helps that family transition in. They get the information on them before they they get their permanent change of station orders, which is a copy of their orders. They know who the dependents are, their ages, what grades they're in, and all that kind of stuff typically. And they help get the parents get enrolled and acclimated to the new environment and all that. So if you're near base, you can go to some of the programs and ask about their CYP programs. Or again, if you're looking to do that, or you can grow your own. But keep in mind, if you decide to grow your own, make sure you're growing your own in the way that you want them to represent your campus. And I think you'll find this next poll kind of gives you an idea of what probably shouldn't be a part of your program. So let's jump into our next poll. Check for understanding. All right, here we go. All right, it's your third opportunity. Question is, which of the following would not be an appropriate aspect of your student-led transition program? What would you not want those kids doing? Not a single person's gotten this one wrong yet. Oh, we always got one. This one is flying. We got about 400 people here. This one's flying towards 400. Everybody's getting it right. All right, we got a few more seconds. All right, and we'll go ahead and share the poll here in about 5 seconds, and then we'll jump into our Q&A and our to see if there's anything there regarding the transition program. All right, so let's end this poll. Let's share the results. As you can see, this one was kind of a no-brainer. You would not want to train your student ambassadors to show kids how to skip school, because skipping school is not cool, despite what it says there. And so you don't want them training on that. I don't want to date myself, but there was a time when I was in high school that there were areas where kids couldn't go, like the teachers' lounge and stuff like that, because there was, teachers used to smoke and stuff like that. And back in the lounges back in the day, I'm dating myself here, but those would not be areas you would want your ambassadors to take kids. But these days, those things are much safer. But taking kids around the school and introducing them to knowing where the teachers' lounge is or where the water fountains are, all those would be appropriate activities for your student transition. So again, it's your imagination. You know your community. You know what's needed. What you choose to do is there, but there are some things we highly recommend be a part of just really a good transition program for anyone, any new student. So we'll jump in here, go into Q&A. Let's see. Is there liaison? See, Jennifer says there are a list of liaisons from each base that our campus can contact. Yes, Jennifer, there is a list of all the military installation liaisons. It is on our website. It is posted, but it's not published yet. But I have the page. I updated it recently as they added a few more liaisons. And so I updated it maybe a week ago, but it has to go through accessibility here at the agency and then they publish it. So they have to make sure that it's actually accessible before they will hit the publish button. But yeah, that information it'll be out there very soon. Should be published very soon. All right, Destiny, a teacher at my campus sent me this question. She's asking, there's a purple star truck that comes around. Is a mobile army bus that has AV, RV equipment inside for the kids to play with, pull-up bar. I don't know anything about that one, Destiny. That's not associated with the state's Purple Star program, but if they got someone to sponsor a bus that's actually very, very cool, actually. If a bus that comes around and goes to school and it parks there and kids come out and they work out and they do pull-ups and they, have I'll put a set up obstacle course for the kids to kind of do some of those things. I think that's awesome. But no, that's not part of the state's Purple Star program, but I encourage any district to do that because that is flat out cool idea. What if we're pre-K through 3 or 4, school where students are too young? Actually, you don't have to have a single military connected student, Teresa, in order for you to apply for the Purple Star Campus Designation Program. You just have to show that your campus is dedicated to and is committed to providing for the unique needs of those students. That in case they come. It's better to be prepared and then the students come and enroll than to not be prepared and have no one know anything about military families and yet kids that are coming in that enroll in your school. So you don't have to have any, but even one is enough to have the program. How many of the applications were rejected last year in the 332 campuses? That's a great question, Doug. Last year, for whatever reason, we had quite a few that stopped partway through the application process, because one of the things I can look at, we had over 300 applications. 152 were selected. When the governor made the announcement, 150 were announced, but we had 2 more that their information was it was in the system, but it was in there in a way where I had to go find it somewhere else. They had put it in the wrong place. But there were it was about a 50% rate of those that not so much were rejected. That percentage is way smaller. That one is somewhere, I think we had about 16 schools that were actually just flat out rejected this past year, but there were so many that did not finish their application because they waited until the last minute. And I want to caution you here, do not wait until the last minute. A lot of people waited till the last 2 or 3 days of school because that's when the kids were gone home. And we'll talk about the timeline for the application process this year, but I just highly advise you don't wait till the last minute. And Terry, you'll be able to find a recording of this. It's going to be posted to our YouTube channel here, probably no later than Friday. Like I said, I'm here at a conference, so it's hard to kind of get away. But I'll try to get this to you guys in your email box, and I'll have it try to get it, and it will have the link to the YouTube, a link to this presentation, and a PDF of your CPE. So that will all be coming to you by Friday, hopefully. All right. That is our that section, the transition section. Last one, oh no, this is the fourth one. This is probably the shortest of the bunch. Is the fourth requirement is that the campus has to offer professional development for staff members on issues related to military connected students. Give you a second to think about it. Let's set that in. Professional development for staff members has to be on issues related to military connected students. And so if we were doing like a thing here where people could kind of share out and popcorn out, that you may hear things like military culture, deployments, helping kids succeed, helping kids transition, the military interstate compact, which we haven't talked about yet, Purple Star camp, programming. There's just so many areas helping kids transition with or helping kids cope in the face of resiliency. I mean, just all kind of different things that can be a part of this, but it just has to be something for staff members that can help them better understand and be able to teach and work with their military connected students and families, because there are some unique aspects to military culture that are very helpful, that once teachers know them, they understand, and they put processes and systems in place to accommodate those kids that might be coming anytime throughout the year. Because I mean, there's no set date for military people to be transitioned to transition in and out. There's a peak season, but they transition all throughout the year, and so you may get a military connected student at any given time. But again, topics look at research-based stuff that talks about founding of military kiddos, helping kids build resilience, um, identifying, supporting those kids and some of their struggles that they may have, maybe due to separation or deployments. Mentioned earlier, becoming a Purple Star campus and the Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission, or MIC3. If you've never heard that term, please get to know it, because it actually is. We'll have some training on what that is that you'll get soon. And assist the students, military connected students, with college applications and other post-high school choices, like offering the ASVAB. I mean, just different things like that. 44% of people who are sign up for active duty military are either previous dependents of military service members, or they were service members themselves, or their family were service members. Let's see. All right, so like I said, this one was the shortest one. The idea is just make sure you offer staff development. Your military liaison is responsible for making sure this happens each year, and working with the administration to make sure this happens, to make sure staff is there and that they actually get the training. But the military liaison is not the person who has to do the training. The training can actually be done by anyone, including bringing in a military service member to maybe do a talk, just a discussion, or hold some sort of professional development with your staff on something related to the military or military students. Maybe help them learn about what it's like to transition. Find out that you're going to be moving, and then just what it's like to be a military family where you move every 2 to 3 years, and what special needs a student that's doing what might be, what does the staff need to know about a student who comes in, that's their world, is that they move every 2 to 3 years. What does that do for social development? What does that do for friends? What does that do for, attachments and things like that? And so those would be all great areas to have somebody come in and do PD. Your counselors can definitely do PD on related to things like that. So all right, we'll jump into our next quick poll here. Then we'll ask a few questions. See, we've had 2 or 3 come in there. So let's jump into our poll about the did that one. So we don't have one. Certificates. Oh, so we don't have one. Okay, never mind. There's not one for this one. It's so short. All right, and this is our last one we'll talk about. Let me jump in and ask any questions though about that before we head on. Let's see. The application is not open at this time. Oh, it is not. No, the application, Charlotte, the application will open, and we'll get to this in a few slides here. It opens typically in early April, and it closes typically early June. And those dates I kind of have some tentative dates I've put in here that are in this presentation. We'll get to that in just a few seconds. See, Kara asks, do the trainings need to be offered, or trainings need to be done? How many? If you're talking about the professional development part, Kara, that's the training just has to be offered, and people need to go to it, and they need to sign something saying that they went to it, so that you have evidence that this PD was offered to the staff and was offered to staff. We're creating some asynchronous modules where you can say, okay, everyone on the staff, because we're Purple Star campus, everyone has to complete the Military 101 module, or there's currently a module in TEA Learns on special education and students who are dual coded military connected. They have a great module on that. I'll share that out in our military connected newsletter that should be coming out this week or next week. But there's a great module for that. And so, again, that's something great. Again, you have your staff take it, all signed, saying they took it. Boom, you can check that one off your application. See, Marletta says you mentioned that some applications were not finished. Is it due to it being somewhat complicated to fill them out, or wait to information for moving forward? What I found was that once you get through, like the ones that weren't completed, it was like 87% of them never got past like the first two questions, which were like, what is your ESC? And then what is your LEA number, like your school's campus number? Then enter your campus liaison information. The name would be entered, and that's typically, there were about 87 of the ones that didn't finish. That's where they stopped. And so typically if people move past like the first three questions, which is just really just self-entering information, you're not uploading any evidence at that point. So I have no idea why people quit. I'd be curious to know why. But they just they stopped, and that was it. C-Car's asking, how can we get on the newsletter list? I have that here. This was on the very last slide. So you'll be able to scan that and start getting my military connected newsletters. And Ms. Moore, you are correct. I am amazing. Sorry, that's not what she said. I thought I'd throw that out there in case anybody else was thinking it. All right. All right, next up, guys, folks, is the last section. This one is talking about the requirements for Purple Star. We talked about the initiatives that demonstrate military support. See, we've got a few minutes left here, so let me get through this one. This one is simple. So they can either do a resolution, and I have some websites for you where you can just go. The resolution is already there. You basically go in and fill in your information, like your LEA or your district, or if it's your superintendents. We have ones for City Hall. We have ones for mayors. We have one for governors. We have one for principals. There's a website. It's not ours, actually. It's on, I think it's on MSEC's page. But they just have all these sample resolutions that you can just download. It goes, take it to the school board, have the school board sign it, take a picture, upload that picture and a copy of the resolution. And I'm gonna show you what a resolution looks like here on the next slide. But a couple of things they can do. And if you're doing this, if you know who your Instagram person is, whatever, they need to pay attention right here. One of the things they can do as part of showing their support for military families is that they can recognize things like Month of the Military Child, which is in April. And the state does a Purple Up event that week of during Month of the Military Child is usually the second weekend, the second Friday in April. But we realize with STAR testing, there's some people, but you have the ability to move that around wherever you want to. But things like, just putting something on your Instagram that says we support our military connected kiddos. You take some pictures of your kiddos in purple shirts. So if you do a Purple Up week, like a Purple Up dress up week or something, we've seen schools that do that. We've seen schools that have there's like a bulletin board in their building that's dedicated solely to military connected families and things related to that. And so take a picture of that, upload it. That's proof of your support for military connected families. So anything you put in your newsletters, anything you put in your social media. The one that's coming up is November is Military Family Appreciation Month. Also have some links in here for where you can go to get ideas for how to celebrate Month of the Military Child. The DODEA puts one out. There's like 150 things you can do. MSEC also has a whole month of the Military Child toolkit that has all this different stuff in there you can do, and I have links to all that here. And then the third thing you can do, the third option you have for meeting this requirement is that you can partner with a local military installation to provide opportunities for active duty military members to volunteer at the campus, speak at an assembly, or host a field trip. And so if you're near a military base or you want to set something like that up, if you do set something like that up, to make sure you take pictures and you can upload those pictures as part of your evidence of your application that this is one we did. But again, you all have to do one of these three, not all three, but we found that a lot of Purple Star campuses you'll find it's easier to just go ahead and do all three. But right here, we kind of show you an example of what a resolution looks like. This is one from Lake Dallas ISD. And so as you can see, this looks like it comes directly from that template site I was telling you about. But you just download the templates like a Word document. You customize it to, your ISD, whether, San Antonio ISD or whatever case may be, Dallas ISD or whatever, and just get it signed, make sure, put in you don't leave anybody else's name in your resolution. That wouldn't be good, but go ahead and sign off on it and go from there. And again, these are the three things. And here's a great example here. The picture. This is actually on our website right now. It's just a picture that somebody took, for Purple Up Day. So you can see they got a poster in the background, and kids are wearing their, shirts. I guess maybe they were somehow got shirts to put on, but just those are perfect examples of things that would represent, great support and commitment to military connected families. I don't have a poll for this one, but we'll go ahead and jump into some questions here. All right, let's see. I have bus duty. I'm gonna view the last portion. Okay, not a problem. What about community, county, veterans, and military breakfast? Absolutely, Richard. That's a great idea. That can definitely work as when it comes to this particular part of the requirements. Bringing in veterans, bringing in folks doing military breakfast day, all those things. Just take pictures. All that's fantastic evidence that you can add to your application that is perfect in my world, in my opinion, my judgment, and which my judgment matters because I'm looking at the application. So. We ought to host a Veterans Program Day in November. Would this count as part of the Military Family Appreciation Month? Absolutely. Your Veterans Day program you would take pictures of that, invite some military folks to come in and speak, have some, maybe a table set up, maybe with something, just recognize military families, some brochures or something about that, just anything. But yeah, anything you do in the month of November, if you involve veterans or military people, take pictures of all that, put it in your brochures for it, put them up. If you send out a newsletter that's an invite for people to come to the program, that counts as evidence. Anything that you can upload, all that's fantastic evidence. And so, great idea. Go for it. Sounds like you're ready. All right. Now that we've kind of gone through the requirements, I was like, okay, Dr. Bowsley, you've rambled on for the last, 50 so minutes about, this, what the program are. I'm ready. We're ready to do all that. What do I get? How do I know? What happens next? And so once you have been awarded the Purple Star Campus designation, you will receive a letter from the commissioner of Texas Education Agency recognizing your campus as a Purple Star campus. You will receive a high-resolution virtual logo that can be used on your campus webpage. It can be put in your newsletters. It can be put on T-shirts. It can be used on posters. You can have a plaque made. I saw somebody do that recently. It was awesome. Oh God, I wish I put the picture in here. I was in El Paso Airport day before yesterday, and when I was at the airport, I was walking past a billboard, and it was from one of the ISDs in the area there, and it said 7 Purple Star schools, and they had this giant Purple Star logo, and they had the mascot for each of the 7 schools there under the Purple Star thing. And you have to remember that airport has a ton of military people who fly into it, and so one of those folks, even they go into the airport, first thing they see is that schools are important. We got Purple Star schools here. You're important because Purple Star is all about military. I mean, it was awesome. I have the picture. If you want it, I'll send it out. I got to put in this presentation. I don't know why I didn't do that. I was just so amazed by it. Airport after my own heart. What can I say? Third thing they get is a searchable designation on their txschools.gov profile. If you know where we send parents to look at anything on schools now, it's txschools.gov. And so, and I'll kind of show you here what that looks like when I do that. But these are some examples here of the ones that were done in 23, 24. I should put the one in the most recent one in here. But the governor actually released the list of the Purple Star campuses this year. I got a call like maybe the night before, and they said, "Hey, by the way, the governor's making that announcement." I was like, "Okay," but this was the one we had ready to go for last year, and this was a change we made where it says customized campus award letter. I know when I was a principal, if I got something like this from TEA, I wanted to have my school's name on it so I could put it in my newsletters. I could make big giant posters and hang them up. I could do we could do all those things. And so one of the things I did when I took over this program was I wrote some code to create customized letters that go to each campus principal so they can do what they want with those along to the campus military liaison, letting them know they have been awarded. This is how you found out that you've been awarded the Purple Stars. You get this letter. And we also post it online. All right, so this past year, I should say 23, 24, but we had our largest application pool ever. We had this is not updated, but we had our largest application pool ever with the number of programs that were there and that were represented. The number of ISDs had grown. The number of ESCs represented was grown dramatically, and so those are very exciting things for us to see the program growing, and we want to continue to grow our goals out of the program. at around 700 schools by 26, 27. So we're trying to race towards that goal. And then we encourage, again, all public schools and open enrollment charter schools are eligible for this designation. All. I talked a little bit about txschools.gov. And so this is what it looks like when you go to the page. It's for everyone. Anybody wants to know anything about any public school, a public open enrollment charter school here in Texas. This is where you get all of your information. This is the official site for anything relating to Texas public schools, where if you just want info. And so you go to this page. And if say, for instance, a parent, they find out, hey, I'm getting ready to I got my orders to go to Fort Cavazos and down around the Killeen area. And they say, okay, I got to get my kid in school, because that's the first thing they worry about. The Department of Defense Transition Assistance Survey showed that families almost to 100% rate transitioning schools as the single most difficult part of the transition process. And so we want to help them out with that. And so with this, they go to this, they say, okay, I'm going to Killeen, I'm going to Fort Cavazos. In that area, they got Killeen ISD, there's Coppers Cove ISD, there's Jetson ISD, there's all these different school districts that are in that area. And so up here, they can go in, they can put in the number of school districts that are in the area. So I put there in the area that just highlighted red there. But one of the things we love, if you look down at the bottom of this screen, there's only 2 award designations here in the state of Texas. And we've added Purple Star to the list now. And so if they want to search by Purple Star School, they can just click on Purple Star School, and they can search, and the school districts where they want to look for them. And if you see there, it comes up with a list. And this way they can see the grade of the school. They can click on the school over here in the blue links, and it gives them all the data about that school. Anything they could possibly want to know about that school is all when they click on that link. And so if you're not sure what your school data looks like on that site, go to txschools.gov and put in the name of your child's school or your school, so you can see what other people see when they go to look up your school. How to apply. I think this is our last. We got one more slide. But how to apply the application? We have last year's application. A PDF of last year's application is posted on our Purple Star website. So the application is not likely to change a lot this year, if at all. So that's a good way to kind of go and look and see, get an idea of what all will be needed to get ready for the application. So you kind of get like a preview of the application by going out and looking at that. And I left that there for you guys to make it easier for you to kind of think about how you would go about, setting up and preparing for your program application. We've set a tentative window. And again, I said this is tentative because we are looking at moving the window back for the awards to go out in May instead of in late August, because this would allow schools to close that year with the award and then be able to advertise themselves as a Purple Star school to attract those teachers or those parents that would be interested in their kid going to a Purple Star school. So you really get kind of awarded for your hard work throughout the year at the end of the year if we move it to May. Right now, you do all the work, and we look at the applications over summer, and then we make the announcement at the end of August. And that's just thinking about it and feedback we've gotten from other people in the past. They really have said they would like the idea to change the timeline to have that be in May. And so that's something we are looking at, and we're looking at what that might look like as far as being able to evaluate 500 applications, in 2 months' time. But any way it goes, if you're planning on doing this, go ahead and start preparing now. Get those Instagram tweets ready to go ahead and celebrate Month of the Military Child. Talk to principals or teachers, like, hey, put something in your newsletter about Military Family Appreciation Month next month. Something about Veterans Day. Anyway, go ahead and put that stuff out there. We appreciate our veterans, those that serve. We want to thank you for your service. Any of those things, social media, newsletters, so a picture on your website, any of those things, those can be uploaded as evidence for your application. So go ahead and get ready to do them now. Remember, November 1st is next, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. So go ahead and get that stuff ready to go right now. I've been working on one for TEA that we're going to post on November 1st. So it's ready to rock and roll. Again, just be sure you always document your activities, because you got to have evidence. We're the only country that requires, or the only state in the country that requires evidence to be uploaded every 2 years. And we were recognized for the strength of our program as having the best Purple Star program in the country. All right, and last one here for those. Thank you for staying with me. We got almost all 400 still stay with us. A couple of things. How to apply. We talked about that. So when you're ready to upload things, you upload your things like screenshots of social media posts, website posts, of emails that you send out to your community, of proclamations that'll be like the resolution, things like that. If you do PD, uploading a PDF of the presentation that was used, along with a PDF of the sign-in pages where teachers signed in, or however that's done. If you created some sort of a flyer or a banner or a poster or something, take that, upload it, a PDF of that into the system for your application, wherever that's supposed to be, in that area. If you have videos and things like that that you keep on a video hosting service, you can include links to that on a page that just says, videos. Type in the name of those, drop in, copy paste the name of those URLs, put them in a Word document or something, or in PDF, and upload those. That way we can kind of go in and look at those. And one of the best practices we recommend is creating that binder or electronic portfolio that can be passed on to the next person in case you have a change in who the liaison is this year versus next year, or there's a change in the middle of the year. We found that keeping these things all electronically, that way it's not such a daunting task for the next person to pick it up and run with it, is best practice. And so whether your district uses as a Google district, or your Microsoft district, or an Apple district, or whatever, just keeping that information somewhere electronically where it can be accessed by for continuity of the program and continued growth of the program. You want to keep we highlight values, keep everything electronic. And one last thing I promised is a couple of FAQs that I'll get to. Does the campus-based liaison have to be an employee of the school? The answer to that is yes. Can I work with my school district to help create my easily accessible website? The answer is yes, but you still must have your campus-based liaison information on that page. What's the best way to submit and collect evidence? Again, I just talked about that. If you can host videos, just give us the links to those on YouTube, Vimeo, one of those. Post everything else as a PDF when you get ready to upload your application. We're working on it where you can choose more than one thing at a time. Last year, so we asked you just combine everything into one and then upload it, because that made it so much easier to review more applications, because we knew they actually doubled from the year before, and so it just makes it easier to get that done in the timeline that we have it. The next thing talks about how soon should I get it? No, again, if we stay on the current timetable, it'll be August 2024. Actually, sorry about that, August 2024. If when you're in the application process and the application has not expired yet, if you notice you made a mistake, or you have a question that you forgot to submit something, you just send me an email to this, where you see it here, military connected students at ta.texas.gov, and I actually have the ability to go into the system, either send you back your entire application or send you back just that one question for you to answer and upload whatever it is that you forgot to upload. So we'll work together on that, no problem at all. And then what resources are available to help me to assist with my application? Military installation liaisons are absolutely fantastic. They're trained in this. They help judge the applications, so they know what's expected to be in the applications. So they're great, and they're willing to do things virtually. And again, we'll have that website available for you. We'll post it as a one-pager as well, so that you guys have that, and you can reach out to a military liaison and ask them if they'll help you out. But then just mentoring with go look at the list and see if there's anybody nearby you, and call them up, ask them, hey, how was your purple star process? Who's your military liaison? Who can I talk to that can help me out with our application? When you fill out your application, what did you submit? What would be a good example of something to submit? And so form those mentor networks to help you through the application. And of course, you always got me. I usually have office hours during that time that I set up, where I just answer questions and help people with their applications. And so we'll be available for you. Let me jump back in here for sure. Last slide. Let's see if there's anything that came up after that. Let's see. Richard says, I'll save a piece of cake for you in Caddo Mills. I know where Caddo Mills is. I was up in Frisco. Let's see. You have our military unit come out. Want someone to do PT with your kids? Take pictures, Jessica. That's fantastic. You have your military unit comes out and do PT with your kids. It's fantastic. Take pictures. That's an awesome way to include that in your application. Joy says, I was able to speak with you recently at our education summit El Paso. I just wanted to see if you could touch on the subject of where the ability to upload several pictures. Yeah, Joy, that's what I was mentioning earlier. That's something we're working with our IT department on, is being able to upload multiple things instead of just one. And so as we flush that process out, when we get ready to do this again in the spring, we hope to have that all worked out, and we'll have screenshots on how to upload more than just one. See, Carolina says, we're an elementary campus and have privacy purposes, do not have Instagram. It's okay. It's okay. We post our information on Dojo for our families. Is that okay? Absolutely. Anything that goes out to your families is communication. You can print out a copy of that, post or save a copy of screenshot, upload it. It's good to go. Tiffany Green. Tiffany's the best. She's my military contact in Houston ISD. She's here today. Hey, Tiffany, great to see you here. I knew you would miss it. Hope we had a lot of Houston ISD schools here. And Marie, thank you so much. A formal invite. Hey, send it to me. You got my email address, militaryconnectedstudents@tea.texas.gov. Send it to me. I'll come. Ask who was that? Just a Joy up in El Paso. I was just there last week. Before that, I was in San Antonio last week as well for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Mentor Conference, and they do a military mentor thing as well. But I was there for that as well. Anyway, thank you for everyone who stayed on with us. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you rocking with us for this long and staying with us. Our last thing here is just one. Here's my contact information, but you'll get this shortly. But if you want to take a screenshot of that, you can do that. That's how to get in touch with me. I'm take my computers with me everywhere I go. So you ring my phone, you send me an email, I get everything right away, and I try to answer within one day all the time. And lastly, the question was asked how to get our Military Connected newsletter. There is the link there. If you want to take a picture of that, or go ahead and go to that website. You can go there. It will ask you to enter your email address, and once you enter your email address, it gives you a list of all of the listservs that are available at TEA. So you just go down and select the one that you want. And then my little screenshot here, there's Military Connected Students is down there. So as long as you subscribe, go ahead and subscribe to that. When I get ready to send my newsletter out end of this week or next week, you will get my newsletter. And so again, thank you to everyone who stayed with us this long. We appreciate you again riding with us, rocking with us on this. We love Purple Star. We want every single school district in the state to apply. Actually, that will be a nightmare because I'm the one that looks at all the applications, so don't do that. But no, I'm just kidding. We want everybody to apply because this is good for our kids. It's good for our military connected kiddos. It's good for our military connected families. And it's good for all kids, actually, when you look at kind of what this program does. What it means is I'm going to commit to someone who has a unique need, no matter what that need may be, whether it be military connected, whether it be foster, whether it's pregnancy-related services, whether it's just someone who needs somebody. Be there for that person, and they'll remember the rest of their lives. Shout out to the teacher I remember most, Miss Irene King. It's because of her I'm here today. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. You guys have a good one, and see you again soon.